Hey everybody, it's Ed and the future is now. And the future is how to chart Tesla in 20 minutes, or any company for that matter. So in this video, I want to show people how to make a chart. How to put the technicals on it in detail with Tesla. I mean, I've specifically probably made 100 charts on Tesla in the last 5 or 6 months. So I'm really familiar with Tesla. So I wanted to start with Tesla. We could do this with any company or any stock, but I wanted to show you this and hopefully it'll help. So if you guys like charting and want to learn about it, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification on our channel. Okay, so first things first, let's look at a chart. This is my chart I made this morning. Okay, I was working on short interest and other things when it comes to Tesla, and I found a major flaw in the shorts, and I wanted to point it out. We'll bring that up later in the video. Okay, and here's a basic chart of Tesla, and here's an empty chart. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is put your supports and your resistance lines. So I use Schwab Street Smart Edge. You can use whatever platform. I suggest using a sophisticated platform so it's easier for you to analyze the data. Okay, and most of the platforms, have their own software and stuff like that. So anyway, if let me know what software you use, or if it's good or not good or whatever, if there's a certain software company that you like when it comes to doing this. So the first thing we do is we hit the draw button on the far right, and then we're going to draw in some resistance lines. Okay, and you can weight it with whatever weight, and you can colorize it. Resistance lines I color in green. Okay, that's good, meaning when it breaks that's good. Okay, support lines I put in red. That's a base, that's a stop. Meaning if it breaks down below that, it's bad. So let's put our first support right here. 1, 2, 3 spots up here. Basically 950. Tesla's max. If Tesla breaks 950 again, you can see 1,000, 1,200, 1,500. So that's a key. Okay, now what's next? What do we got up here? Okay, when it kicked and came down, we had the 800 mark basically. 809. Okay, what else do we have here? Okay, let's see our main spot here. Be right around 650. And then let's go to support lines. So let's draw a couple supports. Let's start from the bottom. Okay, so we know where it bottomed out not too long ago on the 19th, or the 18th to the 19th. It bottomed at 351. Okay, that's definitely a bottom there, a major bottom. Okay, we definitely have a bottom here at the 500 mark. Remember what I said about the 500 mark a long time ago? It was a key number. It's just a psychological number. So anyway, let's put those two main supports on here, and we'll put those two main resistances on here. There's more. There's plenty more on here, but I don't want to go too crazy with the supports. Okay, so now we've got our 3 resistance points, and we got our 2 support points. Okay, now what do we do next? What is the most important thing that I buy and sell with, or what do I use? Does anybody know? Put it down. What do you think? All right, comment on that. So to me, it's simple, and I'm going to draw it in right now. Okay, trend line. The trend of what's happening. Is there more buying or more selling? The trend. The trend is everything, not the price. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a trend line in here. We're going to head up here. Now this, we got to get kind of detailed. Let me make sure I get this trend written right. So I have to take the exit drawing mode off. So I'm putting my trend line on, and then let's get this down here. So the bottom of the upward trend is more important. The top is not as important, but I still put it on because it gives me signals. Okay, now let's see what the top of this trend line would be. Okay, and what type of signal it would be giving me here. Take a look at the spike up here. I'm going to put an oval on that one really quick, just so you can see when Tesla went ballistic. Okay, this was out of the trend. It was out of the channel. That's danger zone. And what happened? It went up like crazy and crash like crazy. That was not normal. That was not normal trading. And normal trading gets punished. So it comes back to the trend. Okay? And you can see when it broke the trend up here. Anyway, that was the uptrend. Now the downtrend's a little bit different. Okay? So I'm going to put some arrows on for the downtrend. Okay? And I'm going to put those in red. So I'll put some arrows down here. So you can say from here all the way down to about here, which is the 600 range, in here to about here. So we have our downtrend here. And then let's pick another downtrend that we have going on. We had a downtrend here, pretty severe, and even more so all the way down. And let's cap them all on the top as well. So we got one here basically, and we've got one here. Okay. Now let's go to our uptrends of our bear market. Okay. Let's take a look at how they look. So we got our uptrend going up this way. We got our uptrend going up this way. Okay. We had a sideways trend here. I'm going to put that in a different color. But then, of course, we have a relief rally trend up here and up here. Okay. So that's a little trickier, obviously. You can see it pop down, bounce back up, and then it dropped like cratered, basically. And then we have a relief rally. Okay. So this is easy. Look at the left side trend going up. That's extremely easy to play. Just keep buying more and sell once it gets to the top or near the top or when it breaks. Okay? Buying low, selling up high. That's really what you're supposed to do, right? On the trend. On the downtrend, it's a little tricky. You can't just, buy in the middle here and know what you're doing. It's just, it's a tough spot. I mean, should we buy here or is it going to go down even further? Don't know. So, I mean, it depends on what you're doing. If you're long-term trading, investing short-term or whatever. But anyway, we're talking about the charts. So now we have the support and resistance lines, and we have our trends, our trend lines. These are important. This is the trend of the buying and selling. Okay? And those supports and resistance are key spots where it bounces off of one way or another to reverse direction. So you can see up here it bounces reverse direction, bounce reverse direction, and heads down. You can see down here it bounces up, comes down, bounces up here, and actually I'm incorrect on the trend. I'm a little off here. I got to be a little more precise. Take a look. So anyway, let's add some periods. And what it is we're adding time frames to this. This is the 5-minute chart, but I'm going to add like a couple hundred frames. Actually, I'll just put it in here. I'll add 200, 300 frames, okay? 5-minute frames. So you can see what that does. Okay, now what I see, this trend goes up. It looks like it broke the trend, right? Potentially. So I would put my arrows down in this scenario because this is the direction that it's pointing to. So you can kind of take, hang on a minute, let's see where it gapped up here. You can kind of take, this is going to be tricky. I'm not sure how this trend is necessarily going to play out. It could be something like this. It could come up even further and be something like this. It could even be even higher, maybe even up in here. But eventually it will turn, even if it only turns short term, it will still turn over at some point in time. It's not just going to go straight up to 5,000 from here. Okay, that's like a 0% chance. So let's think of it that way. It's going to turn at some point. So anyway, that's what we're looking at here. So now we have our trends going up, going down. Okay, but now let's go back to this other data. Why do I have all this other stuff on here? Okay. Okay, well, let's go to the uptrend. Let's start the uptrend really quick. And let's mark some of the big things that it was constantly doing. And I'll make some arrows, some tiny arrows. You guys know I talk about flags because they happen all the time. Let me point some out. 1. These are bull flags. 2. This one, I can't remember exactly where this one was at. I think it was kind of like this. That's 3. And then we have this one, which is 4. So we have 4 flags. Breaks flag, goes up. Comes back down, breaks flag, goes up. Come back down, breaks flag, goes up. Breaks a flag, huge, and it went ballistic. This wasn't normal, and you saw what happened. Caved in. Okay? So anyway, so I'm putting those flags on the left to show you what's happened in the past. Okay? And I won't get into the flags on the downside. The flags are really tricky to really see. I mean, look around and see if you can see them. I can see a flag here, and this was a big negative flag. Let's look at the difference between this flag and this flag. Okay, this flag had like an upward trend going up, and this flag kind of had a downward trend tailing down. So, big surprise of what they did. That kind of let it out. And this would be a bull flag. Remember, it kicks down and goes up. And this would be a bear flag where it kicks up and breaks down. Okay? It doesn't kick up and then kick up to here. It's not going to go up to 720 right now. That wouldn't make any sense. Okay? But anyway, so that's that part. Now, let's go to the right side. Now, why do I have all these marks on here? Well, now that we have the chart down, let's try to figure out what it kind of means when it comes to the market. And I noticed something, so I wanted to talk about it with you guys. I've done a lot of research on it, but I've noticed something really strange in the market. Okay, and that was the Tesla short volume. Okay, now hang on a minute. Let me go back to here. So let's go back to this one. Now the yellow lines here and the orange ones vertical, all the vertical lines here, these are all points of shorting differentials. Okay? Now this isn't going to make a whole lot of sense right off the bat, but I'll try to explain it the best I can. Sorry, that was Amazon. I want to pull up, where was it? Let's pull up, where's Tesla? So this is Amazon short interest. But I'm going to pull up Tesla short interest. Oh, sorry, right here. So now, if we start here, Tesla at 549, okay? The Tesla at 549 was on January 24th. The short interest was almost 30%. It was capping out. So let's look what happened. Right here in this circle on the left, okay, where my cursor is, this circle had the highest volume of short interest. And I was like, wow, that's weird. I'm like, why in the world wouldn't there be more short interest up at the top? Okay. And I started thinking about it. Well, people don't make good decisions all the time. So people were making decisions on a price and not the trend. This trend is going up. They weren't making decision on the trend. It didn't break the trend anywhere. So why were people shorting at the highest level ever in Tesla? Because they were shorting in the past. They're looking back in the past till 200. Well, I mean, Tesla was at 240, right? So, I mean, at 540, this is just way too high, so I'm going to short it. That is a mistake. That 30% of these shorts were making at this time. Why in the world were they shorting at 540? There are no signs to short it going up here, except for, wow, the price is really high. Does it matter if the price? Forget the price. The trend is everything. Okay, if you're buying, if you're a long-term guy like me in general, and you're buying Tesla at 240 and selling at 840, buying low, selling high, if you were shorting it, wouldn't you be shorting high, buying back low? So why are people shorting in the middle of an upward trend? Huge, huge mistakes. And this is potentially what caused the massive short squeeze going up here. And then they just crushed them. Can you imagine? Everybody was covering their shorts because they were losing a ton, almost 100%. At 549, they're losing basically 100% or more. Now they're forced to cover, and then boom, they get slammed down, and all the people start taking profits off the table. The smart longs start taking profits off the table and just smack the shorts in the face. That was brutal. Big mistakes for shorts. Don't short in an upward trend. Okay? That's my broad advice to humanity. Don't short in an upward trend. Okay? It's the same thing as buying low, selling high. You would be shorting up high. If I was a short guy and wanted to short all the time, I'd be shorting up high. You know, when it cracks, then I'd be shorting. I'm not going to be shorting in the middle of an upward trend. You don't know how long that trend's going to go for. So anyway, that breaks that part down. So now let's go to the second short issue that I saw, okay? And this was in the pink line, second from the yellow on the right. This is when it capped, okay? This is when Tesla capped at its all-time high, okay? Well, that was at 960, February 4th, the peak. The short interest dropped all the way from 30 to around 20 or 21%. So all that shorts had to got covered. Instead of adding more shorts up there, which to me made more sense if they were shorting, to be shorting at a max high, the short actually went down because they were all forced to cover their shorts because they overcommitted shorts at 549. So they got smashed. Okay, now if we go to the third part where the crash is, the $828 per share, those are Tesla dollar per shares at the crash at February 24th. Okay, let's go there. Now let's see what we've got from there. So that would be the middle pink bar. Okay, so what was the short interest there? It was down even further. Okay, that's not making a lot of sense, right? So the short interest was down even further. So it's like, to me, it's like, okay, shorts making a mistake here, and then having to cover making another mistake, or basically forced to cover, whatever it was, and then now making a mistake again by all the shorts that are covering up into the 800 range. I'm not too sure what that was all about. Okay, that was strange. Now, let's go even further. Now the short interest goes back up. It hikes all the way back up to $30 a share. Okay? This is all, remember, within about a month and a half time. I mean, this is crazy activity here. But anyway, so at 350, when it was literally at the bottom of this channel. So let's go to that one. Let's go to the bottom of the channel and see what that looks like. Right here, the pink one there at the bottom with the circle. Now the shorting essentially went to the middle. Like, it stopped shorting. The maximum amount of shorting were from essentially, oh, let me pull up the actual data chart. You'll love this. Okay, so now in the last 10 days since the 16th, the short interest in Tesla has gone from 12% short volume ratio, to 24. Okay, the short volume ratio. Okay, this is pretty insane. It's doubled in that time frame. Okay, in a week, last 10 days. Now that last 10 days, okay, let me pull up this again, are in between the two yellow bars. So literally right around the early 5 to early 5. So meaning we've literally had double the short volume increase, and it's literally gone nowhere in the market as far as the time frame. Okay, double, but the actual price has really not shifted. So people were shorting, and they started shorting more and more as it got lower. That's a mistake. That's like buying up way high. That's the same mistake as people buying too high. They're shorting way too low. That's not making sense. So shorts are making mistakes all over this map. Okay? Shorting way too much at 540 based on a price, having to cover or not shorting at all up here if they were going to short, and then reducing their shorts when it finally does show a sign that we're going in the downward direction, and then adding massive shorts towards the bottom of this cycle. I mean, do the shorts even have a concept whatsoever what they're doing? I mean, this is just, to me, pointing the data, but this is mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. And now let's see, the short interest came down like 3% maybe from the bottom from a couple days. 3%. You know? So where's the short volume going to go? I guarantee if that short, I will be watching that short volume. And let's see where 24. Actually, let's go to the chart really quick. Let me go to the chart. It'll make more sense here. Okay, so if this short volume gets up to 30, I will be buying massively. Okay, that will be my symbol. Buy like crazy, because so many people are over shorting, they're going to have to cover. So the price will be so low, and for one, and then you'll have all this exponential covering issues that they're going to have to do, and that's going to drive the short interest back to potentially around 12%. So this is, I mean, you've got to be happy for the shorts. People that bitch about the shorts and complain don't really understand that the shorts are doing you a favor if you know how to play the game. Okay? They're doing you a huge favor. They're basically overcommitting to the wrong side of the equation most of the time. So anyway, so when this short interest gets around 30% or potential, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure exactly, but if it spikes up to 30%, oh, I'm going to be hammering in, because that's the cap. That's like the max. That would be like the max bottom, like 30%, you know? So anyway, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out in the future. But if more and more people get into shorting in the next couple weeks and it drives it up to 30% or more, that's when it's time to load, because all of those shorts are going to have to cover in a hurry when it storms back, and you're going to see a massive, reversal at a bottom, you know. So I mean, this is what I see from the data. I don't have to be correct here, but you can see how we made a chart from nothing, you know. We made a complete chart from nothing. This is the daily, but a 5-minute chart, and doesn't look like much, right? It doesn't look like much data. If you just look at this chart, there's no way to see what's going on. But once you start overlaying the technicals and you start seeing the trends and the support lines and all the other data that you want to add in, like I'm throwing in where people are over shorting, where people are doing what. Okay? So that's huge for your decision making on what to do and what not to do. So you should always follow what's going on in the markets with all the technicals. So anyway, I hope this, guys, gives you a quick idea of how to make a chart quickly, how to analyze the data. You can do it with any company. Practice it with a couple companies. But I suggest that if you have Tesla shares, if you plan on having Tesla shares, if you short Tesla, you better start charting, okay? Because it will give you a huge advantage, at minimum 25% advantage over every other investor, if not more. So anyway, stick with our channel, and I'll do my best to, give you the best data I can and to analyze it as best I can, in a rational sense that is using data and using math and using numbers, using trends. The trend is everything. All right, take care, everybody.